Hello everyone, thank you for joining me this Friday for your free weekend reading. I hope you've all had a great week and it's a pleasure to be reading for you again as always. I pray that the insight I'm disclosing today is helpful and is useful to you in your life and gives you a peek behind the curtain as to the energies that we're going to be embodying over the next couple of days. I will be doing a brief general reading at the beginning for those of you that chose all the cards, but if you want the reading to be very specific to you, then please choose just one. I'm using the Thoth deck today. It's actually been quite a while since I've utilised my old faithful, as I like to call it. So it's like I'm returning back to an old friend and getting reacquainted again with the guidance it always has to offer. So then let's look at what we have in store for the days ahead. And first we have art, or temperance, as it's also known in many other decks. Our next card is the Hermit. And the Hermit's inverted today, that's quite interesting. And finally we have Ten of Discs, or Wealth, as it's named in the Thoth deck. So looking at the spread today as a general reading, I would say that your focus or goal is that pot of wealth sitting at the back there. But before you can reach this goal or aspiration, you need to be willing to balance yourself and integrate aspects of your life by restoring and replenishing. So then you'll be ready to take on the challenges that come with creating this real foundation for wealth. I would like to state that this could actually be another kind of wealth. It could be spiritual wealth, or the desire for emotional stability. Or you may be thinking about upgrading yourself in some way in order to be able to reach your goals more efficiently and thus creating a real foundation for this security and wealth. When looking at the first card here, Art, we are looking at integration. You can see the goddess on the card is mixing elements to make something entirely new. So you may be thinking about integrating your work with someone else's, or integrating work and home, so you can work and be your own boss and create an original vision. The key here with this mixing or integrating is to improve and do so with balance. You need to make sure your emotion is stable before you start mixing those various elements together and making any big steps to increase wealth in those various areas of your life. This really ties into the Hermit. As you can see, he's inverted, so in a sense he's retreated completely into darkness. And this is perfect following Art, for when we pull back and give ourselves some peace and quiet, we'll be in a much better place to find that balance. And this is crucial when integrating ourselves and our vision for wealth in all of its forms. We'll be able to really tune into ourselves and find answers that would otherwise elude us. We are usually distracted, we're constantly entertaining our brain, and for the most part, we don't have time to centre. So the Hermit here is fully withdrawing to find that equilibrium, find that balance, find that centre. It can be hard. We can get caught up in the lives and dramas of those around us. Our emotions can be stirred and we can be pulled away from our own vision. But the Hermit here requires retreat, and it requires that we look to meet our primary needs and our comforts, so that we can slowly start to build ourselves up within and give ourselves that much needed respite from the world to process our emotions and to take stock of our desires and goals. Also, we don't need to share all of our thoughts and feelings with everyone all the time. This expression will only drain our already dimming lamp or guiding system that the Hermit is holding. It's like he only has just enough energy for himself right now and is looking to recharge and restore. So this is a real priority. If we can take that retreat, maybe nourish ourselves with good food, warmth, really whatever fills us up and recharges us, we'll be in a much better position to take a step back and look towards that aspiration for more wealth and emotional healing and financial progress. Wealth is there, but we must light up our lamp by recharging ourselves, and then and only then will we be able to find our way through the darkness to that precious gold that is waiting us on the other side. Looking at the cards today in a bit more detail, we have Art, or Temperance, and this card typifies what is known as the process of synthesis, integration, which leads to healing and transformation. When integrating, we have the opportunity to create something entirely new within ourselves, sort of an evolved state of awareness. We are, for all intents and purposes, multifaceted beings, just like the hermaphrodite being in the image there. Psychologically, it can feel like we have multiple versions of ourselves that live inside of our mind, These aspects of the total self are all constantly vying for their needs to be met. They scream out for attention, acceptance, and love. Now, there may be some parts of you that are locked in development from different stages of your life that have very specific needs and desires that maybe other parts of you may judge or mock, and there may be other aspects of you that act as the mother or the caretaker, the overseer, and then other aspects of you that are more like the warrior or even the victim. Integration is a wonderful tool. It really helps us accept all parts of the total self, and that's what this card is all about. The character here is what is called the divine androgen. This integration is an alchemical process whereby the soul can be perfected. And you can see inside of her clothing are all the spheres of the tree of life. These symbolize that multifaceted synthesis. Indeed, there should be a time and a place to let certain parts of the self shine through and have their moment in the limelight. And the ability to accept this multifaceted nature of the self can be truly liberating. We have all aspects of our personality that we judge or mock as being weak, immature, or outrageous. But by doing this, we are in fact in civil war with ourselves. So balance, moderation, these are two more key words with this card, and they may actually provide the answer to this problem. I think when we embody one or more of these traits or personalities, we tend to grab hold of them and block out other aspects and go all in and indulge them maybe a little too much. It's like we've been starved of nutrition, and once it does finally come around, we're like, wow, we need to hide ourselves away and stuff ourselves before it's too late, before it ends, because we never know we're going to be able to free to express ourselves in this mode of being again. But this imbalance will only lead to further judging ourselves and then repeating the cycle or the inner battle. But if we can allow total expression of the self without judgment, and if we can do so with balance and moderation is real key, then we can truly be whole beings again. And this synthesis is the key to finding true happiness and is actually the back door to total self-love and compassion. So if you chose this card today, you may be feeling this shift, and it is through art that you can synthesize and evolve into a higher being. Next we have the Hermit, and he's inverted today, so let's hope he knows his way around in the dark this weekend. This does actually make perfect sense at this time. We are just passing through the new moon, so total darkness is abound as we end one cycle and move into the next. And with this inversion today, we have what is known as a total retreat into darkness. So you're likely feeling this need for space and solitude. This card can come off the back of a period of feeling a low mood or irritability, sometimes depression. This would make sense at this time of year because the days are getting shorter, the nights are getting longer. We can find ourselves going to work in the morning and it's dark, and then busting our butt all day only to have darkness waiting for us on our way home. Some people even experience what's known as SAD symptoms, and this is from the lack of sunlight. So as you can see, the Hermit can only see a small distance ahead, and with this inversion, clarity of vision becomes even less. So the Hermit's really going into himself right now. There's the desire to pull away from the world for a time so we can look after ourselves, so we can nourish ourselves. We should look to build upon whole foods, relax our mind and unwind with hot baths and general home comforts. This card does advise that we try and keep our thoughts and feelings private for a time, as not to expend our emotions and energy any more than we really have to. So if loved ones around you are pressing for your attention and you are feeling slightly antisocial and raw, then just look to prioritize yourself. If you don't and push on through these cycles, you'll only weaken in the long run, and just like the Hermit character, you will indeed find yourself stumbling around in the dark. Your batteries need a good full charge before you can step out into the light and shine your lantern brightly again. So prioritize you and do whatever it is that gives you the most comfort over the next couple of days. Our last card is the Ten of Discs, which is wealth. And this card is all about physical security. It's about secure finances. It could be an aspiration or a goal with which one strives towards. Or it could be something you already have and you're looking to improve upon and really set into some kind of permanence in your life. But depending on your current situation, this could potentially mean a successful business deal, or maybe a financial venture. It could even mean an inheritance or something that will bring in an unexpected finance your way. If you do happen to be in the process of launching a new idea and you chose this card, it's really a great foundation or a lesson from which you can jump off. This will really lead to that foundational wealth and permanence. As you can see in the card, all the discs are layered upon each other like cogs. So it's like they're all working perfectly, like a machine, and this is consistent and dependable and obviously long-lasting. There is a warning with wealth, and that being that you may be thinking that financial wealth is the only kind of wealth there is, thus blocking your access to the pure golden wonder that the world has to offer all around us, which is actually totally free of cost and truly fulfilling. True wealth can be emotional stability. It can be the love of friends and family. It could be spiritual insight and connection, and most importantly, it could be peace of mind. This card really embodies wealth and the feeling of security and having a solid foundation at home and in your career. If you chose this card, you may be in this feeling place. You may be already enjoying the fruits of your legacy, so to speak. But if you're not feeling entirely content or secure right now, then this really typifies that aspiration, and that you really do want to work towards those goals. To receive this in a reading does indicate that this energy is either already in your life, or that at least it's within your creative ability to achieve in the future. This system of security, it really needs to be put together from the ground up and built with solid structures that can all work together like a machine, so there's really no disharmony in the discs. If there was an imbalance, then the whole machine would come to a halt. This machine is secure and built upon hard work, obviously balance and focus. So you can achieve wealth in your life if you're willing to find your center. If you're willing to go within, to replenish your energy reserves, and strive to build upon yourself each day with consistent focus and integrity. Thanks again, everyone. I've really enjoyed today's reading. I hope you've enjoyed these few minutes with me today. I will be back next week as usual. Again, it's always an honor to be able to work with you all. I hope you all have an awesome weekend, and that you nourish yourselves and shed light on your total self, mind, body, and spirit.